We're happy to have Phil Werz from the Pinehurst, Southern Pines Aberdeen Convention Bureau. He's the president and CEO down there. Phil, welcome to Back Nine Report.
Hey, Fred. Great to see you again. How you been?
Well, we've been fantastic. Fall's starting to set in up here, so we're thinking about maybe heading down south somewhere to some warmer climates, play a little golf. Pinehurst is a good place to go right now?
Man, it's fabulous. It's always been a great place, and it's always a beautiful day in Pinehurst. But with the recent announcement, the USGA moving their second headquarters here, it's a dream come true. And when it comes to tourism, which is our specialty here with the Tourism Bureau, it is manna from heaven. It really is. And to have that relationship with the USGA and so close to this Pinehurst community, it really is fantastic. And it's a great benefit, not only for this destination, but for the entire state of North Carolina.
Yeah, of course, you're talking about the recent announcement by the USGA to move some operations there. They're going to have a golf house. They're going to have a testing center. They also announced 4 more U.S. Opens for the Pinehurst area.
Right.
What's the golf house Pinehurst? What's that going to entail?
Well, basically, if you're familiar with Golf House that they have up in New Jersey, it's essentially the same thing. It'll be a different design. I know at the public hearing the day before the announcement, somebody had mentioned what would this look like. So they will make it very much, if you come to Pinehurst, very much looks like a New England style village. We've not seen the designs or anything like that. We do have an idea of where that building is going to be located. It'll actually be 2 buildings. Golf House Pinehurst is what they're going to call it, which would be administration and a museum. And then there'll be a media center besides that. So, and actually the media center will serve as a community or space for meetings, conventions, things like that, almost like the Fair Barn, if you're familiar with the Pinehurst area, right off of very nearby we're at the horse track, right next to the maintenance facility by the Pinehurst golf courses 1 through 6. So those are going to be located, just if you're familiar with where you get to the clubhouse, in between the Carolina Hotel, there's a roundabout. Just as you go into that clubhouse, that road on the right, there's some land there, so they're going to use that area there. It will be their second headquarters, but it'll also be the anchor, their headquarters for future U.S. Opens, not just the ones here in Pinehurst. It will be their operations center for the U.S. Open, for every U.S. Open for the future.
And I think they're going to add about 50 staff. Is that about right?
That's correct. They already have about 15 of those have relocated from New Jersey. What a great opportunity to be able to move from New Jersey, where it's cold and a little rainy sometimes, to come to the home of American golf and locate here. So I know they're looking forward to it. I know even Mike Davis at the press conference said, they're back home. And so it's really great because, when you go back and look through time, the original president of the USGA was Richard Tufts, who is the son of the gentleman, James Walker Tufts, who put a stake in the ground here in 1895 and built that beautiful resort. And celebrating the 125th anniversary, as is the USGA. So a lot of synergy there, and it's been a relationship long before the first U.S. Open came here in 1999. The relationship with Pinehurst and the USGA goes back decades.
I made a comment on our radio show a couple of weeks ago after the U.S. Amateur was held out at Bandon Dunes. And I said, you know what? All future U.S. Opens should be held at just 2 places. One, Pinehurst on number 4 and number 2, and at Bandon Dunes. That's all you need. Maybe if you want to slip down to Pinehurst once every 10 years or something. But I think those 2 properties, with the variety of golf that you have, the abundance of facilities and great just amenities and everything combined, those are 2 perfect examples. And adding 4 more U.S. Opens to Pinehurst, that's fantastic.
Yeah, what's really cool, Fred, is that not only did they add 4 more U.S. Opens, you mentioned the U.S. Amateur, they haven't even announced, and they plan to do that in the future. I don't know when, but I'm sure it'll come through time. Obviously, will be additional Women's Opens, which we have the next one here at Pine Needles Lodge and Golf Club in 2022. So they're going to name more Women's Opens for this area, as well as U.S. Amateurs and Senior Opens. And maybe another junior amateur, which is that one's going to be held next year, 2021, at Country Club of North Carolina. So, what's great about this too is that this community, is built on golf. We are the home of American golf. It's our DNA. It's what we do best. So this community has embraced this announcement. They look forward to it. We are going to grow this destination. That is going to be one of the things that's going to happen with this announcement, and not just for golf, but we're talking healthcare, which is the largest employer in the county, Moore County. First Health has a huge facility here. They're building a huge cancer center, additional facilities, but also it's going to help local restaurants, retail, tourism, obviously. So there's a ripple effect on this and has a huge economic impact, not only on this area, but the entire state.
One other piece of this announcement was the announcement of a equipment standards facility and an innovation center. Explain a little bit about what all that entails.
Yeah, from what I understand, they have a testing center. They're basically moving that down here. So essentially, every golf club and every golf ball that you strike and use will have been tested in Pinehurst, North Carolina, before it goes out into the market. So great research opportunity for the USGA to move that here. It's kind of interesting too, because we're trying to grow a golf cluster of golf businesses here, almost like a Carlsbad East. And Pat Corso, who's the head of our economic development team with an organization called Partners in Progress, he's working hard and has already talked to a number of people in the golf industry about potentially relocating their golf business here or starting their golf business in the Pinehurst, Southern Pines, Aberdeen area, even in the Carthage area, which is our county seat, is right smack in the middle of the county. So we see that happening here. There's a lot of energy here. Even Jamie Ledford, who's the president of Golf Pride, they moved their global innovation headquarters here. And so all the Golf Pride grips that you use are all designed and innovated right here in Pinehurst, North Carolina, and then designed elsewhere. But they're building a testing center as well, where you go get club fitted and you go get fitting for a ball. You'll be able to go to Golf Pride's Global Innovation Center and get fitted for your grip. And they're right there at the entrance of Pinehurst number 8. So they'll be able to pull people right off the driving range at Pinehurst number 8 and say, hey, test out this grip. Let's see what it looks like. I think that's going to drive a lot of people here. And again, it's a great opportunity. Even Jamie Ledford says, the vibe here in Pinehurst for business is outstanding. And we really truly believe this will become a East Coast Carlsbad, California.
Yeah, I love the way it's all coming together. It's one more step, all the growth of the Pinehurst area. I think this is fantastic. And if you're a golfer, you've got to go. I mean, I call it the high cathedral of golf in America at Pinehurst. I love it down there. Hey, one more thing before I let you go. My love for Mid Pines and the Mid Pines family, the Bell family that has Mid Pines and, of course, Pine Needles across the road. They added Southern Pines a year or so ago. They've been doing some work, and it's kind of up and ready to go now, right?
Yeah, actually, they just purchased that a couple of months ago, Fred. And so Kelly Miller, who's the main impetus behind that, the president of Pine Needles and Mid Pines, adding that third course, which is it's a classic Donald Ross design. So all three of their courses are Donald Ross. In fact, the Southern Pines Golf Club is one of the first ones Donald Ross built when he came here to the Pinehurst area. It is just, I wouldn't say it's gone into disrepair. It was owned by the Elks Club before that, and even they admit they're not golf operators. So they run an Elks Club, but they had a golf course. And so I think with Kelly Miller and his team being able to purchase that and give it some really good TLC, it's rumored to believe that Kyle France, who redesigned Pine Needles a few years ago, is actually doing Raleigh Country Club right now. He may get tapped to do the redesign there just because he already has a close relationship with Kelly Miller and that team. That'll be announced probably in the next couple of months once Kyle finishes up in Raleigh. But for him to redesign that course with the great bones that Ross course has, if you're looking at a triumvirate of courses owned by a single group, you look at Pinehurst number 2, number 4, number 8, and you look at Southern Pines Golf Club, Pine Needles and Mid Pines, those are two pretty stout threesomes, and be interesting to see how people pit them one against the other as the best 3 courses by one ownership in this area.
For my money, you can't go wrong. I got to play Southern Pines a few years ago, and like you said, it just needs some tender love and care. The course is fantastic. There's a lot of potential there. They get that cleaned up and renovate it just a little bit, bring it up to date. That's going to be great. And Mid Pines, it's one of my favorite golf courses anywhere. So you can't beat that trio. And then the Mid Pines Inn, you throw that in there yet. Good stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at 38 courses and within a 15-mile radius, and outside of that, you've got Tallamore and Mid-South, Legacy, Tobacco Road, a great Mike Strand golf course. There's a ton of great golf here for all price ranges, and if you go to homeofgolf.com, you can read all about it.
Phil, thanks as always coming on, chatting with us a little bit. As always, Pinehurst is open for business, and you guys are taking all the safety precautions, and you're ready to welcome people down there.
We sure are. We've been open throughout the pandemic, and this place is rocking and rolling. We're ready to welcome the entire world to the home of American golf.
Thanks a lot, Phil.
Thanks, Fred. Appreciate it. Have a great day.